Where do I need to be?
I don't know. Just stay where you're at. Don't move.
Live and recording.
Hi, welcome everybody. We're on Carly's birthday today, so thank you for joining us on our podcast. Carly, how are you? Happy birthday!
Thanks. I'm good. Thanks. 21 again. Great to be 21.
It's always good to be 21.
Every year, baby.
Listen,
Ted always gets me something for my birthday for 20, and I'm 21. So he gets me a card that's 21, a balloon that's 21. This year, apparently, he forgot to get all of the above because this morning I opened up my card and it says, to my daughter. Because our mother is in town, so she had her card, and she's like, well, you can sign mine, because he kept trying to get me a card, and he would keep forgetting. Like, he went to Walmart 3 times the other day, in one day, and I'm like, babe, you forgot a card.
I
He's like,
feel
yes.
so loved.
I know, and then he's like, I remember on the way home, but you were following me, and I knew if I turned off, you would know. So Nolan's like, just go, we'll tell her we're getting a gun, and then he's like, yeah, but then you'll be like, oh, it's too expensive, don't go buy that gun, and then she would know. So he's like, so I didn't even go. So they all signed Grandma's card that said, to my daughter.
But he did have like a big thing planned for you. You kept changing your plans.
He did. So he's so sweet. He did. He planned. So my best friend, Jamie, came up. My best friend of 29 years.
Which was
And
supposed to be a
21
surprise.
years. And yeah. So it's supposed to be a surprise, but he's like, Carly, what are we doing? And at first I forgot like what we were doing. And I'm like, I don't know, nothing. So they planned like massages and her to come up, uh and then I was like, oh crap, no, we're doing a fun run on Saturday. We have plans. We have plans. So then he calls her and he's like, hey, can't do Saturday, you gotta do Sunday. So she reschedules for Sunday. And then and then I was like, no, we can't, because we're going out to lunch with all the friends. Like, we can't. We're meeting all my friends out for lunch for my birthday. And so she calls me. She goes, surprise! I'm coming out this weekend. But I had to talk to you because Ted's driving me crazy. He kept changing the plans.
He kept calling me. He's like, I don't. What is she doing? Are we doing something? I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I'm here. I'm sick in bed, so I'm like his best audience when I'm sick.
Really? When you're just sick or all the time? Yeah. So anyway, so yes, my best friend came up this weekend. It was really fun. We had a great time. We went down to the Ocala World Equestrian Center and went to the Grand Prix, which was really cool. I've never done that before, and it was really pretty. The equestrian center was beautiful, and horses are my thing, so it put me in heaven. So it's with my best friend and my mommy, and we just laughed and had a good time. And it was funny because we're sitting in the stands, and they're all the contestants. It was for $120,000, so it was a big ordeal. The Grand Prix. You're frozen. Are you frozen? Oh no, you're not. I thought you were frozen.
You're such a nerd. Oh wait, I'll be nice to you. It's your birthday.
So then, so we're sitting in the stands, right? And the riders are going through, and they're all from different countries and everything. So one of them comes up, and it has the flag. And this old lady sitting next to Jamie, she was kind of like irritating to us anyway, because she brings her dog. She's like loud, obnoxious. Her poodle's like sitting in Jamie's face. She's like, hi. Like, okay, I'm not really, I like cats. But she's so she's messing with the dog the whole time. Well, then the lady's like, oh, they're from Italy. And she goes, that is not an Italian flag. She's like, that's Ireland, or it was like vice versa. So the lady said she's from Ireland, and Jimmy goes, that's Italy's flag. What is she talking about? So she goes, go Italy! Right by the lady's face. So then we had to check it. And she was wrong, so she's like, it was pretty funny. And then, but yeah, it was fun there. And of course, as we were leaving, it was really cool because the winners, they stopped us for the winners to cross in front of us. So we got to congratulate them and stuff. So it was really neat. That was fun. But yeah, how was your week?
Oh, so after our podcast last week, I was like, Carly, I don't feel so good. I'm gonna go lay down, and I ended up getting the flu. So I had flu A this week, which I just got over being sick, and so man, it was rough. I had high fever, and I don't remember the last time I had a fever that high, and it's like you're so good at taking care of your kids, like you know what to do when it's your kids. But when it's you're like, oh yeah, what am I supposed to do? So I knew I had to talk myself into getting into the shower. I was like, you have to do it. I was freezing. So I get in the shower, and I stay in there, and I get out, and I'm like, okay, I have to go to urgent care. I've been sick too long. Like, this is too much. And so I get out, I put my pajamas on, I put my robe on, I put a winter coat on and my slippers, and I went to the urgent care. I was like, I'm sorry, I couldn't take anything off. I was too cold. And they were like, no, you're fine. I had 102.6 fever. So, yeah, it was miserable. And that was after the shower and after medicine. So, yeah, I can't imagine. But it was rough. But I'm definitely feeling better now. Today is like the first day I actually feel halfway decent. And I'm drinking my sister's oregano tea. She's so proud of me.
She always dogs me because every time they get sick or anything, I'm like, get your oregano tea. She's like, if you say oregano tea one more time.
I'm like, I can't do oregano tea. And then, of course, I did it. And, of course, I feel better. But I don't know if it's because of the oregano tea or if it's day 7. But we'll see how it goes.
I'm going to go with the oregano tea.
I am. Because last night I had a fever. And I haven't had a fever today, I don't think. So that's good. I don't think I have. So I disinfected everything today, which made me feel better. But so anyway, I say that because I was laying in bed a lot. I am fully caught up on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Like, I'd be very fine if I don't watch any of those again. And I couldn't watch TV because it made me tired. So I'm looking at my Facebook. And so, okay, you gotta stick with me on this. So we have this friend, and her name is Carley too. And I'm only telling you that because it's going to make a difference. So I'm looking, and Carly's like the sweetest. We've been friends for, since college. So 25 plus years. I've known her. Yeah, she's teeny tiny. She's ripped, like not 1 ounce of fat. She's just gorgeous. Yeah, she always has been. Yeah. Well, I'm laying there. And I've noticed that she's been very political on her posts, and I'm like, that's so weird. Like, that's so odd from her. But I'm like, in this climate, who knows, right? So I'm like, whatever. So, and then all of a sudden, like, I'll see, like, a post of her dogs or, like, her boys or, and then, like, some random political thing. And I'm like, why? Like, what's going on? So she posts a picture. You can take your face and put it in, like, another picture, and it makes, like, a new picture of you. Right? Have you seen those? Like the headshots or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, she posts one, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? Like, her eyes are all puffy. She looks crazy. Like, is she sick? Like, that doesn't look anything like her. Mm-hmm. So then I watch again, and there's another one, and I'm like, wow, she really likes these. So it's another one. Again, looks just like the other one. I'm like, that doesn't look anything like her. Mm-hmm. Third time. Post another one. I'm like, okay. And then in the midst of that, there was a really vulgar post, and I was like, that does just not seem like her. Like, maybe I should call and check on her. Like, what's going on? So I was like, let me investigate this a little bit. So I go and open up, the the Facebook or whatever. It's some fat guy. I've been following this guy for a year, and I thought it was Carly. His name is Carl R. Lee. And I just thought that maybe they had a Facebook page together and they took these names and put them, because I couldn't see the icon with his face on it. It just was like black and a guitar. So I've been following this guy it wasn't her at all. It's some dude. I'm following some dude. Like,
you didn't see pictures of her
what?
at all? You didn't see any pictures of her?
No. I would see her post, and then his post, apparently, that I thought was hers.
Gotcha,
But it was him the whole time. But because, I'm usually on my phone without my glasses, it just said Carley. So but his name is actually Carl R. Lee. Or Carl E. Lee or something. And I'm laughing so hard because I'm like scrolling through it, and the whole time I'm thinking, wow, she's really really extreme on this whole political thing. I didn't know she was that extreme. I was so embarrassed. It was so stupid. I had to call Bree because Bree's really close with her too, and I was like, you won't believe what I did. And we were crying because it's so out of character for her to post anything like that. And so I gotta show you. Like, it is the craziest thing. And I'll post them on our Facebook page. Can you see it?
Yeah, what?
And then,
so weird.
Yeah, and look, that's the dude. Like, that doesn't look anything like her. She's teeny tiny. And, like, dude's been posting, like, pictures. He puts his face on his fan, like, all these people. And I'm laughing so hard. I'm like, what in the hell? And, like, I mean, like, these are the posts that this dude posts. He's like, here's a little song I called Shove Your Vaccine Up Your Ass. And I'm like, well, that seems really uncalled for from her. So I've been following this psycho for a year, I think. I was like, oh my gosh. So Bree's like, you have to unfollow him. And I'm like, I don't even know how I started following him to begin with. And like, what does this dude think of when he sees that I'm following him, right? Like, he doesn't know me. He's
probably like, I gotta know her from somewhere, maybe high school. Because you probably friended him.
Yeah, I definitely friended him. So I think what I did was I friended him on Instagram thinking I was following her on Instagram because I have her Facebook already. So I went back through her Facebook, and it's like all sweet stuff, like her dogs, her puppies, like walking on the beach. I'm like, oh my gosh, I owe her an apology. I still have to call her and tell her, but I don't know how to tell her. Well, now this might be too late, but I mean, like, she's teeny tiny. I mean, she may not even be 100 pounds. Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, it's so funny. I was like, what an idiot. So Bree's like, stop following him. And so I was like, I'm a little concerned that he puts his face on women, like that he makes himself a woman the whole time. And Bree's like, I said, well, I'm going to miss Carl if I stop following him. And she's like, or you could die. And so I texted her, I was like, it puts the lotion on. It's seriously, dude posts 3 times a week. Like, so I really am going to miss Carl. Like, I feel like...
Hi, Carl.
I'm like, how long did it take me to realize that? Like, when
Carl's
I went back to his
probably
posts,
watching this right now.
Carl probably is. He's probably one of our fans. Carl, if you're on, send us a comment. He's like, oh, look at me being famous.
Because he's been seeing our posts on Facebook for it, so he's probably listening. Like, oh, let me see if I know her.
Dude, I've been following him for a long time. Like, I'm like, oh. So that was my dumb thing this week. I was like, that's so dumb. And then, okay, so then obviously I've been watching TikTok videos and stuff. And so there was this one, reminded me of a story. So anyway, we were at a wedding, and Jake was with me. And so I'm always doing stupid shit, like where I get myself in trouble, where I say the wrong thing or I do the wrong thing or whatever. I mean, we kind of all know that already. But so I'm standing there, and there's like a long table of people, and I'm visiting with somebody at the end. And so I was like, oh, hey. They're like, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so. And I was like, oh, hey. And the guy looks at me, and I'm like, you have something on your face. I was like, look, all these people are going to let you sit here with it on your face, but they're not going to tell you. And he turns his head, and it's a birthmark that goes all the way up his face. But I couldn't see it. When he was looking at me, it just looked like ketchup on his face. And I'm like, oh, nope, you got it. And Jake just shook his head and walked away. Everybody knew. I was like, oh, nope, you got it. It's fine. You got it. You taken care of. You're right where it was. It was weird.
You do stupid shit like that all the time.
Gosh.
Remember when we went to Little League game? And I'm sitting in the bleachers and you came late.
Yeah, I was late.
I'm running in, and right as you get there, this little girl goes up to bat, and she hits the ball, like, right as you sit down, and you're like, oh, look how cute she is. She's running as fast as her little legs can take her. And I was like, sister, she's a midget, like, or she's a small person.
No, well, yeah. She's a little person.
Don't say the wrong. But yeah, and you were like mortified because we're like, where are her parents?
I was like, oh.
I
I had no idea she was a little person. And I was like, look at her little legs just running as fast as they can. Such an asshole.
No, you said running as fast as her little legs can take her. Like, you were not quiet either. Like,
well, no, because she was really cute. She was really cute.
She was so cute. She was such a cute little girl, but embarrassing. Yeah, you.
Oh my gosh. I mean, there's never a shortage of embarrassing things that I've done. I mean, okay, so you want me to tell the story about my college visit?
Yeah.
So we take Logan to college, right? Of course, I'm a hot mess. My first baby's going to school, and we drop him off. We get him all moved in and stuff, and so we're getting ready to leave. And it's always awkward because, you know, he's kind of ready for you to go. We don't really want to leave. You know, is there anything left? Can we do anything? So we're like, let's go to lunch. And so, okay. So Jake and Nate get in the car with Logan because they want to spend as much time with them. And I'm like, okay, I'll follow you. Yeah. So I pull out and I'm following Logan's blue Honda, which was very specific. Like, it was a older Honda, navy blue, blacked out lights, like very specific. So I'm following him, and we're going through campus, and he's like driving crazy. So he's like cutting turns and like spinning out, like making U-turns. I'm following him. He goes through a parking lot. I'm like, what is he doing? Does he not know where we're going? I'm like, we haven't even left campus yet. Following him through the campus, I'm like trying to keep up. I'm like, where is he driving like a maniac? Like, I'm trying to keep up with him, and I'm speeding up, and he's like dodging through cars, and I'm dodging through cars. So he goes back to where we started. I'm like, what is he doing? So he parks, and like we're at the police station on campus, and he parks the car, and I'm like, maybe he forgot something. Maybe he needs to get a card or something. And this kid gets out of the car. He's like, what are you doing? Why are you following me?
Say it again. I couldn't hear you. Like, it's going away.
He starts screaming, and he's waving his hands in the air. He's like, what are you doing? What do you want? Why are you following me? Following the wrong car through campus.
So what did you do? Were you like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, I pulled him behind him, so I kind of blocked his car in the spot. And so he couldn't back out or anything, so I had him like trapped. And I mean, kudos to the kid. He went to the police department on campus, but I blocked him in, so he couldn't do anything. The kid was totally panicked. He was like having a total come apart. And I'm like, oh, I thought you were my son. And I was like pulled off. Meanwhile, he's a black kid. He's like, oh, you thought I was your son.
Jake almost abducted me today. Can you imagine the stories that he's telling his friends and his family?
Oh, just legit, his parents just dropped him off. Like, because you have a time. Like, you're allotted a time frame that you're there to let them, like, to move in. And then the next time frame. So his parents just left. And, you know, he was like, this stranger danger, I want to come home. He's not on campus 20 minutes, and I'm followed him.
He's like, I've been here 20 minutes, and this white chick's trying to abduct me.
Legit followed him for like 20 minutes. Because Logan calls me from the restaurant. He's like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm still on campus. I'm gonna need you to drop me a pin. He's like, please tell me you didn't embarrass me my first day on campus. I'm like, don't worry.
On campus.
That kid's not gonna be there. He's leaving today. Don't worry. He's going. He went back and packed his dorm. He's leaving today. I freaked him out. Like, legit freaked him out. Oh my gosh. I was so embarrassed. It was awful. But I mean, he was like, I'm like, what is Logan doing? Like, he's making me go through the grass.
Why are we jumping curves? Like, this is so weird. It's gonna wreck my rims, Logan. I just whipped off my front end.
I'm about to leave you here, and this is how you're gonna drive? Like, how can I leave you here? Like, I can't leave now because you're gonna drive like a crazy person.
That car almost hit me when I was trying to do that U-turn to keep up with you.
Dude was trying to find the police department, and I just backed in behind him.
He's like, shit, it's on the other side of campus. Why can't I remember it?
And he did. He had fight or flight, boy. He came out with his hands. Ah! Like, he was gonna fight. He was gonna fight for his life. It was so terrible.
Take pictures of your tag as you drove off. He's like, if I go missing, this is the chick.
I'm like, what are the chances that it was that, like, 1993 Honda Accord, navy blue, like, with the blacked out taillights? Like, I mean, it was so, yeah, I mean, it was so the same. I'm like, how did I not know? It was.
Mom, where are you?
He's like, where are you? I'm like, oh, God, do I tell him? I found the police department on campus.
Did you tell him?
Yes.
Was he so embarrassed?
Yes. He was like, who was it? What did he look like?
He probably seen him later and was like, hey. Like, the kid probably saw Logan in the car later, and he's like, I bet that's his mom. His mom that followed me.
Oh, it was bad. I can't believe I forgot that even until tonight. That made me laugh so hard.
So,
following the wrong people.
Speaking of taking to school, so Mom's in town, and she takes the boys to school for us in the morning, so Ted and I can go to work. So this morning she's taking Nolan to school, our oldest, and he's at the high school. Well, they're pulling in, and there's another car at the school there's a car that they drive a hearse. Like, it's not, I don't think it's their business car. I think it's their personal car. And Mom's like, oh, what, Nolan? I could be driving you to school in a hearse? What? And he's like, no, Grandma, no, never, right? He's like getting embarrassed, and he goes, Grandma, did you see what it says on the side of it? Or what it's called? And she's like, no, what is it? He's like, Grandma, morning wood. And she's like, what? It says it on the side. That's the name of the hearse, morning wood. And then,
because dropping your kids off in a hearse isn't enough damage.
Right? I'm like, what is this doing to these poor kids? And Mom's like, yeah, it's kind of a weird experience. I'm like, I don't know. The kids might be just as weird. Who knows? Like,
yeah, look, my kids are fine in the world. My kids are fine.
And on the back of it, it says, last Uber ride on the back of it.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah. So then, but I mean, I don't know if that's worse, or there's another car that every Halloween they have like the big full-size skeletons that are like human size, like they're like 5 or 6 feet, right? Well, he puts them in the back of his truck on the toolbox that's back there on the tool bed, and has them, 2 of them doggy style.
Oh.
And the first time I saw it, I was like, because whenever we go pick up Nolan, I have the other two in the car with me. So I'm like, oh God, please don't see that. Please don't see that. So I'm like, hey, Maddox, pick up that thing for me right there. Right there. Can you pick that up for me? Meanwhile, we're driving by and I can see this minivan is behind them. And I can see the mom and the kids are all in the car like,
That is terrible.
it's terrible. And he's moved them around too, where he's turned it around, and I'm like,
Oh my gosh. You're like,
Yes.
what? You're like driving in a school.
oh yeah, right through the school line to
I
pick
don't
up the
know.
kids.
I'm not gonna lie though. You did something in the car line that if I was your child, I would be pretty embarrassed.
What?
When you broke down.
Oh, thank God. No. So, that wasn't in the car line.
Nolan,
Thank God.
Nolan, help me push the car off.
Oh my gosh. Almost. What was it that went out?
Something big.
Yeah. But it wasn't, what's the thing that turns the battery, like your battery recharges it? Ugh. Anyway, I'll think of it in a minute. But it was going, and I had to pick him up
Starter?
from practice.
The starter.
No. I had to pick him up from practice, so I was waiting in the school parking lot. So, I was actually in a parking spot and broke down in a parking spot. So Ted had to come and jump me, and then we were driving back the back roads and had to go real slow. Then at the very end, he had to tow me. But yeah, no, that was embarrassing. But I was not in the car line, thank God,
Oh
because
my
that is
gosh.
the worst. And there's been people who break down in the car line, and I'm like, oh, I feel embarrassed for you. I'm sorry.
Well, there's been, I mean, like the car line. The car line is not my happy place. I do not have an angelic demeanor in the car line at all. So I'm glad I don't have to do car line ever again. But I was, when the kids were little, was taking her to school, and somebody rear-ended like another mom, and they were standing out on the road, and she had like a muumuu on and no shoes, no bra.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, oh no. Like I like looked down like, oh shit, like that could be me. So from that day on, I've always put on shoes and a bra to go to the car line, because I was like, because you don't know, you could get hit, and then you're standing on the side of the
somebody
road.
else could hit you.
Yeah, it was on this racetrack road, so like everybody could see, everybody saw you. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was bad. So ever since then, I was like, no way, man, I'm wearing shoes and a bra to the pickup line.
That's so
But-
funny. That would be awful. Always make sure you always gotta make sure when you drive in your car or going anywhere, you always have like cute underwear on.
Or underwear on. Just make sure they're on. We know what happens when they're not.
Yeah.
So I was laughing about you this weekend because we like mustered up some energy, and we went to get, Jake had to get his contacts. So we kind of were like, okay, let's go. We'll grab something, some food for dinner or whatever. And so we're walking into Sam's, and it's Girl Scout cookie season. So like the Girl Scouts are everywhere. And whenever I'm with Carley, she's never paying attention. So whenever we get up there, I'm like on my phone, like, oh, hey, yeah, absolutely. Carly's like, damn it! Because then she's the one that has to talk to whoever's at their door, whether they're trying to sell us something or whatever. And you're the worst
And
at it.
Nicole
Like,
goes, sorry.
I'm on the phone, I'm sorry, I can't talk. And I just walk straight in and leave Carley there to talk to him. So we're walking into Sam's, and I'm not feeling well, or anything. And so Jake grabs my arm and pretends like he's blind. It's like, I'm like, you're such an ass. It was so
Did they
funny.
buy it? Did they buy it and leave you alone?
They didn't talk to us, and then on the way out, we were like, "Oh no, they're there again," And it's like they're so cute, and they're like they know their game. Like you're like, "Oh, I don't have any cash." They're like, "We take Venmo and Zelle and Cash App. You can scan this." We're like, "Damn." So we were going out, and so I was like, "Oh no, you're not getting me now." and there was like a bigger woman walking out, so I like tucked behind her and walked out next to her and let Jake go on his own. But then it backfired at us because we went to get food and they were there too, so we ended up buying a box.
I've done that before where I was like, oh, you know, when they sit outside and they ask for cash and stuff, like, not Girl Scout cookies,
Yeah,
but like
like,
anything.
yeah.
And I've done that where I'm like, oh, I don't have any cash. I'll get some on my way out. I'll get some. And then I have to pay some on the way out. And I'm like, ugh, I
They're like,
forgot. Sorry. I've done that before. I feel so bad when I do.
we were coming out of a grocery store at Christmas, and I guess it was like, I don't know, Christmas Eve. And let me just clarify. I do give. I just sometimes I can't. So we were leaving the grocery store, and I was with our in-laws, and they bought us Christmas dinner for our Christmas present this year. So they bought Christmas dinner. And so we're walking out, and this person comes up to me, and they're like, "Oh, can you please buy us, Christmas dinner?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm not even buying my own Christmas dinner." Like, like I'm not even buying my own. I can't ask them to buy yours too. But yeah, it's always weird when you get stuck out, like, and people asking you for money.
Yeah, I always feel like such a schmuck when they're like, because like everywhere you go, they ask you for your donation, and I'm like, okay, like the first one or two, like get me, and I donate, and then the next five, I'm like, ooh, sorry, no thanks.
Yeah, and
No
they're like, for the kids. I'm like, damn.
thanks.
But I'm like, yeah, I got kids. Like, I'm donating to my kids. Like, I'm like, and then yeah, you feel like such a jerk, right? They're like, round up for the firefighters. You're like,
Yeah.
what are we rounding? What? Are we talking like 94 cents or like 3 cents?
Yeah. Like to the next dollar, because I'm at 98. I mean, that'll be fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, fine. But like, so there's a couple I always give to, because the babies were preemies, I always give to that. And then one night Jake was upstairs doing something. He was working up here and he was watching TV, and I was downstairs watching TV. And I guess we were watching the same channel because, okay, you know how when you're watching like an old lady show is like when all of the channels are old lady commercials, like the stair lift and like laxatives and Viagra, it's like all those. Well, they play the animals and the St. Jude ones and the Shriners like over and over again. And so Jake comes down and he's like, I have something to tell you. And I was like, me too. He said, I gave to St. Jude's. I was like, I did too. So we both gave to St. Jude's at the same time.
That's so funny.
So now they send us letters. They're like, oh, big donors. But I was like, damn it, those commercials get me.
I know, they really do. They're sad. I always give to the St. Jude. If it's St. Jude, I do it.
Yeah, I do the St. Jude all the
Yeah,
time.
they're like knockoff ones. I'm like, I don't know if I can trust this.
Right? Yeah, the Shriners and St. Jude's I'll do. But like the animal ones, I'm like, oh, I'm not. That's the wrong one. There was one and it looked straight like my dog. And I stopped and it took a picture of it. I was like, why does this look like our dog? Our dog looks homeless. Like she should be on the Sarah McLachlan. Olivia. Yeah, it looked just like Olivia. Like it could have been her like twin. I was like, this is sad when our dog looks like she's homeless.
The SPCA need to come intervene at your house. We should be donating to you. Or Olivia.
Well, I don't know if I've shared this before. We had a dog that was really sick, and like he would act like he was fine when everybody else was around, but when everybody else left, he would just like crash. And there was no mistake. I really didn't care for him very much, but I would take him to go like put him down because he was really sick, and the doctors, he would get there and act like a puppy, and the doctors would be like, we can't put him down. I'm like, no, he's really sick. Yeah, I'm like, he's in a lot of pain. Can you give him pain meds? I'm pretty sure they have me on a list for pain meds because dog pain meds and people pain meds are the same. And I'm like, no, I promise. I don't need your dog meds. Like, But we went to, wow, this is on a tangent. I'm sorry. So we were just telling this the other day. So I already told y'all what I did when I left Olivia outside with the storm?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I was telling that story to a group of girls, and we were laughing because we went to Juarez for a mission trip, and I took a bunch of teenagers there. Well, the town has a lot of stray dogs, so there's dogs everywhere, and people have dogs to protect their house, but like the streets are filled with stray dogs. So you're walking around, and there's like feces, but it has like plastic bags and glass in it. Like you're like, holy crap, what are these dogs eating? Right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible, terrible. But so we're at the construction site. We're building a church, and one of the guys, he is like taking one of these dogs, and the dog comes to the construction site every day, and the kids fall in love with the dog. So they're going across the street to get snacks or whatever. Dog gets hit by a car, straight hit by a car, like run over by the car. Yeah, in front of all the teenagers. So of course they're like devastated, right? They bring the dog back. He goes get the dog, brings back to the church. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that dog definitely has broken legs. He's definitely got internal bleeding. Like that dog's not going to make it through the night. And they're not taking the dog to the vet. Like literally eating glass and bags. So the next morning we go back to the church, and I'm like, let me get in there first, because the last thing I want is the kids to remember that the dog died on this mission trip. Like that's not the purpose, right? So I go running in there, and the dog is fine, eating, walking around, like, I'm good. Look at, I'm good. And nothing to do here. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm like, what the hell? Like that dog definitely got run over by a car. So I went home, and I was like, y'all are Mexican dogs now. We ain't doing this prescription dog food. You ain't going to the vet. Like, we're done. We're done with all that. I know you can eat glass.
Plastic bag.
Yeah, I know you can eat bags and glass and still be okay and get hit by a car and still survive. Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm like, I'm spending all this money on prescription dog food. I just show my driver's license to get dog. I'm like, you think I'm eating this? Like, what is in this? What is in this dog food that I have to show my ID to buy it?
Right? What
it's insane.
That's scary.
Yeah. So that's when my dogs went Mexican. They're fine.
That reminds me of that video that you see on like Facebook or wherever, where the guy's on the phone and he's outside, and all of a sudden his English bulldog comes running out the door, runs across the road to go after this other dog, and a car hits him, and he rolls underneath the car, pops out, and the guy's like, oh shit, Rufus just got hit by a car, Rufus, get in the house. The dog runs back to the house. Like, oh my gosh, that dog, for real. He got hit, rolled under the car, took off.
Yeah, I mean, it's no joke. I was like, it's bad. But there were no stray cats. That's for sure. No cats.
Oh, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. But
probably one or the other, I guess.
What's that?
So it's probably one or the other. Speaking of going on a mission trip, so I kind of have a little bit of a God story. It's kind of cool. So when we went to the World Equestrian Center, beforehand we went at the World Equestrian Center, they had the Home and Garden Show. So we went walking around there. Well, when I first moved to our house here, we were at a football practice, and I met this woman, Amanda, and I'm like, I talked to her and found out that she was trying to do the same thing that I was with the riding facility for the handicapped children. So, she has all the information. She wasn't able to do it, but she did all this research. She's got all this information, right? So recently I've been thinking about her a lot. I'm like, man, I really need to find Amanda, but I don't know how to find her. I don't know her last name. Like, I haven't seen her in years. And I'm like, man, I really wish that I could run into this girl, right? I've been thinking about her for weeks. And I told Mom about it the other day, too. I'm like, I need to find this girl. Like, she knows so much stuff. Well, we go to the Home and Garden Show, and I'm walking down, and I'm like, huh, that looks like Amanda.
No way.
And, I gotta go ask this girl if her name is Amanda, if it's her. So I walk over, and I'm like, are you Amanda? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, hey, I'm Carley. I met you years ago at Pop Warner. And And I tell her, and she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I remember. She's like, yes, I will totally get. It's crazy because I just got a new job. She's like, I'm working for the county. I know all these people now. I got so many people I could get you in touch with. And, um, and I mean, I'm like almost in tears, like literally like welling up. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, like I cannot believe that this is happening right now. Like I've been praying about her and just thinking about her, like, how can I get this girl back into my life? And she's like, it's the craziest thing. I wasn't even supposed to be here. I wasn't gonna come. The last minute I decided to come.
Wow,
And
that's so cool.
yeah, so cool, right? So I'm like freaking out. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is nuts. She's like, call me up. I'll come to your house next week. We'll go over everything. We'll talk it out, like figure it all out. And so then I'm like, yeah, I need to like, I want to build a barn and stuff, and I want to build like an area for, parents to go and this, that, and her husband's there, and he does like plumbing and electrical and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get your number because I'm gonna need you soon. And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. He's like, you buy the supplies, I'll donate my time. Like, I
Wow.
will put your plumbing in. Let me
Wow,
know.
that is like a
Yeah,
godsend for real.
I really started tearing up then, and I was like, oh my
I'm
gosh,
kind of tearing up right now.
I'm gonna do the ugly cry right now. So yeah, so I got her number, and I'm so excited. So it was such a like, I couldn't stop thinking about it all night at the Grand Prix. I'm just like, I cannot believe we ran into her. Like, this is so God. Like, has his hand all over this.
I
Like, it's
know.
crazy.
And you just finished your fences, so like now that's the next step.
Yeah, and I'm about to put up I want to do like a lean-to. We're gonna build that probably next weekend. So yeah, and I got a gate for my birthday. So
Oh, you're so fancy.
I know, so it's like, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, a gate. I need a 6-foot gate. So,
Wow, that's amazing.
but I'm basically getting a gate and a lean-to for my birthday. So
Again, you're so fancy. We
no, but hey, you seen those the memes where it's like you thought you were getting like a not fancy woman, the
oh.
one that but yet you got a farm girl who has the most expensive hobby, like horses.
Yeah, no kidding. He'd rather
That's
get you diamonds.
yeah,
It'd be cheaper.
it would be for real.
Well, it's funny because our 25th wedding anniversary is like in 2 weeks or something, and so since we've had a lot of time together lately, we're like, well, what do we want to do? And I'm like, I'm afraid to celebrate. And I was telling Mom, she was like, what are you guys gonna do? What do you think you're gonna do? And we're like, we need to celebrate. It's 25 years. That's huge. Like that's a amazing accomplishment. And I still love my husband and I still like him. So that's freaking amazing. But
Yeah.
so I said to Mom, I was like, yeah, but the last 2 times we celebrated did not turn out well at all. So we celebrated our 10-year, and that's when Dad passed. But I mean, like I said, God's son, we were there. That's a story for another show. But we ended up being there. And then we tried to celebrate our 20th, but it fell in COVID. So we couldn't celebrate on the 20th. So we celebrated the 21st year, and we ended up planning a trip to San Antonio. And when we were like watching the weather flipped. There was a ice storm coming from the south and a snowstorm coming from the north. It was like the perfect storm, no pun intended.
Yeah.
And we were in San Antonio, and we were like, we have to go home because Emily and Nate were at home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the storm came in earlier than it was expected, and we left like early that morning. The roads were already iced. We drove 16 miles an hour from San Antonio to Dallas, and like
Crazy.
pickup trucks sliding past us. Like we were like watching them like slide right past us and just slide off the road. And we were like, oh, it was the scariest trip I've ever made. Like it was and we got home just in time before the snowstorm hits. We got the groceries and got home, and then we were trapped at the house for 2 weeks because we had no hot water. We couldn't get out of the driveway. You couldn't drive anywhere because there's so much ice and snow. No power rolling out. Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to leave. I don't know if I want to celebrate. Like I'm straight nervous about it.
Set up
But
like a movie theater thing in your backyard and just
yeah, I think
stay
we're gonna
home.
like stay close. Like
Yeah.
maybe celebrate some random anniversary. But I'm like, ooh, I'm so nervous about it. And Jake's like, why? I'm like, really? Look at our past.
I know. We don't have
But
a good past running. Um. Uh. Well, I mean, 25 years. Congrats. That's a huge number.
thanks. Yeah,
Big.
I know. I can't believe it. It does, I mean, it doesn't seem like 25 years. There's a lot of stuff. I'm like, holy mackerel! Like I graduated high school 30 years ago. Is that crazy?
It's crazy.
I'm like, wow. I can't. I'm not. I can't be that old.
I know. My best friend and I have been best friends for 29 years.
21.
20. Yeah. And then I've been married for 15 years.
I know
Crazy.
it's crazy, isn't it? It goes by so fast.
It really does.
But-
Well, do we have time for one more story? Will you tell your story about
Somebody said, we had campus security on the phone the whole time.
oh yeah. Oh, you have comments?
Yeah, I can see the comments. As we had campus security. Yes. And then
He probably did. He's probably like trying to give your description.
he's on the phone with his mom.
To the dispatcher on the phone, like, yes, she is in a.
This is crazy. Well, this is fun. I'm glad you came on the show. Made it on the show for your birthday.
Thanks. Yeah.
You can cry if you want to.
It's my party, and I'll cry if I want to.
Yeah.
Tyler.
Birthdays are so like I don't know. As you get older, maybe I don't know. They feel so pressure. Like to do something, and you're like, I just kind of want to lay down.
I know. I
That
don't
might
like
just
having
be me this
birthdays
week. Huh?
anymore. I know. I don't like having birthdays anymore. I'm like, oh, it's not.
Oh.
Like when we went out for my birthday lunch, I was like, oh, not really my birthday lunch. Let's just go out to lunch. Like, we'll just do lunch. It'll be fun.
We're like Emily's birthday. She's like, oh, and now we're iced in. Just FYI on her
Oh
birthday.
yeah. Yeah.
So kind of lame. She was stuck with her parents on her 21st birthday that don't drink. So that's no fun at all.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Real fun.
Yeah, no, we don't have alcohol. So there's that. So stuck in the house. And so finally it was like warmed up just enough to where the roads were okay. And she's like, I have to go to Starbucks. I have to go here. I have to get all my free stuff. We have to go here to get my free stuff. So I was like, okay. So we just drove around and get her like stuff, go to the restaurant, eat lunch. It was really cute. She didn't get all her free stuff, but she was like, we have to go all these places. But we're going to do Emily's birthday trip with Mom. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
very
excited.
good. Well, that was a fun show. You made me cry. You made me laugh so hard I cried. Love
Yeah.
that story.
I know, it's a mess. I can't even believe it. But
All right. Well,
All
love
right.
you, sister. And
Love
thanks, everybody, for listening. Appreciate ya.
yeah, I had my producer's not here, so I have to go turn it off.
Oh. I'm like.
All right, I'll be right back.
Bye, everybody.